Hello, everyone. Well, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. For quite some time now, I've been wanting to be able to start putting some videos out where I can actually talk to you a bit about everything happening on the campus, so you can get a little bit more of a personal note from me. For those of you that know me, I know we get this from time to time, and for those of you that we've gotten to actually meet, but there are still a lot of you that I haven't actually gotten to talk to in person yet, and I'm really looking forward to those conversations. Hopefully we can have those soon. But in the meantime, this is kind of a critical time for us in this ministry, and so I wanted to put something out to let you know everything that's happening in a bit more of a personal way, so that you can hear around the whole coronavirus crisis and everything that's happening on campuses and just around the world, what exactly we're doing, what's happening here, and what you can do to be involved, and also how hopefully I can minister to you as well. First off, I just have to say that I am so very thankful for all of your support. It means so much more than I can imagine you'll ever know. During a time like this of so much uncertainty, knowing that there are so many people behind the ministry that we're doing that want to see it continue, that are continuing to give even in the midst of a crisis like this, it means so much. So I can't tell you how thankful I am that I know that we'll be able to continue doing what we're doing here because there's all of you behind us, not only giving, but praying, volunteering, and all of the things that you are still able to do at this time. So with Lehigh, there is a lot of change, obviously, as there is at every single university right now. As of several weeks ago, everything on campus was shut down. Housing was shut down, classes on campus were shut down, everything's being done remotely now, which means that all of our students have been sent home. This was really hard. It was a big change for us to go through, and it was, I'll be honest, a bit discouraging just because there's so much that God's been creating and building up on campus. We had this whole new group of young students who were just kind of starting to come into their own within the chapter, and I had a team of apprentices that was being coached to be the leaders for the chapter next year. But the really interesting thing about the time that we're in right now is that even in the midst of all this, with everyone being sent home, I'm still able to continue almost everything that we've been doing. We have technology that's letting us do so much more than we could have done just a few years ago. And I'll be telling you about most of that. So I guess, well, I'll go ahead and tell you right now. With everything changing the way that it has, we've moved everything online. And there's very few things that we're actually having to stop at this point. And in fact, I want to invite you to even tune into our large group. You actually get to be a part of that now because it's online. We're going to be doing something that, from what people are telling me, hasn't, I don't think, been done before at InterVarsity. We're going to be doing a live stream of our large group, and it's going to be done on a platform called Twitch. Twitch is a platform online that is made mostly for gaming and things like that, but it's for pretty much anyone who is going to live stream something to a broader audience, but it also lets there be a decent amount of interaction as well. So it lets our students not only watch just what I'm teaching and be involved in that, but they actually have kind of a chat section where they can talk to each other, where they can offer helpful comments in the midst of all of it. And there's even ways for us to actually have some fun interaction in the beginning of this. And I'm still learning a lot of this. This is all very brand new to me, but really hoping and praying that this will be a good way to continue our larger group ministry. We're also doing a lot of Zoom calls. As I'm sure you know, Zoom is where a lot of people are headed now for online video calls. We're able to do very large sessions of these video calls where I can have, if we need to, a large group call on there and just have everyone talk. And that's some things that we've been doing since the weeks that we've been figuring everything out. We've been able to have a lot of gatherings of students, and we're finding ways to still do ministry, still do discipleship, still do a lot of one-on-ones and small groups and things. And that's actually another thing that has been a neat opportunity we've had here. We were working on launching new small groups. We were realizing that the number of small groups we had was insufficient, so I proposed to my leaders that we do a complete restructuring and start about 7 or 8 small groups where we had 2 or 3 before, and just have everyone be in very small groups of 6 to 7 students at most, and have a place that they really had belonging, where they felt that they could develop deep relationships, not slip between the cracks, have good accountability and discipleship, and really just open up to one another. And we can still do that, and they're actually launching next week. So we've just gotten them all divided up. We're gonna have 7 brand new small groups where I'll be taking the seniors because they especially need a lot of attention right now because they've lost the most of the students who've gone home. They've lost their goodbyes they were hoping to say, they've lost graduation, everything's closed down. And so a lot of them left for spring break. All the Lehigh students found out that everything was being shut down on spring break. They were basically just told not to come back. And so there were no goodbyes. There were many people they've had to accept they're not gonna get to see again and never actually get to say their in-person goodbyes. So there's a lot of really there's a lot of hurt there. And I would really ask you to pray, especially for our seniors, because there's a lot of loss that they're feeling. In the midst of this, they're doing good encouragement for one another, but there's still a lot of hurt there. So I'd really ask you to pray for them, especially during all of this. But back to the large group that I was mentioning a minute ago. In the link in the description of this video, I'm going to have a link that'll say something along the lines of twitch.tv/LehighIVCF. And that'll be the link to our live stream. The first one will have been last night by the time I get this video out to you, but we're gonna have it pretty much every Thursday at 8 p.m. and you're welcome to come and tune in and watch, and you can sort of observe everything that happens. If you wanna write something in the chat to let the students know that you're there and you support and you're involved, please do. I know it's very different. I know it's gonna be a very different kind of platform. It's something that I've never used before, only a few of my students have, but it is a really good place for us to be able to do what we're trying to do. For those of you that are especially concerned for the ability of student ministry to continue right now, I do want to really encourage you and help you to know that students have really been pressing into loving one another really well during this time. I've been in touch with many of them, and I know that so many of them of their own initiative have been reaching out to one another, encouraging one another, praying with one another, continuing discipleship that they had been doing with one another. My student leaders have been working hard to come up with ways to engage everyone and bring everybody together so that there can be good community. They've done exceptionally well with so much of this, and I've been so encouraged to see how they've responded to all of this. So with all of that said, there was just something I wanted to offer to all of you as well. I know there are probably many of you that are going through times of crisis right now. There's so many of you that are praying and supporting and behind this ministry that I can't imagine. Many of you are probably going through very tough times right now. And I want you to know that this community is a place where I would love to be able to bring in prayer from those of you that are hurting, offer prayers for you. If you need support, if you need prayer right now, please reach out to me. There are a lot of people who are caring for others in the midst of all of this. The most I can offer you is prayer and support and encouragement. But if I can, I would love to be able to be there for you the way that you've been there for me for so long. On a much shallower level, I can offer help with things like this. If you're having trouble figuring out how to interact with people in this weird time of isolation, these are some things that I've had to learn that I enjoy doing, and if I can help you out with getting set up with either learning how to do video calls with people or finding out ways of staying in touch during times of this social isolation that we're dealing with, please also reach out to me for that. I know it's not much, but if it's a way that I can help you, please let me know. Finally, I want to close with again saying thank you. All of you have been such an amazing encouragement and support to me and this ministry here. The students, you need to know, the students are so very thankful for you. They actively have talked about the ways that they have felt loved and encouraged and just honestly overwhelmed by the fact that there are so many people that support what we do. When new students come in, I make sure I tell them that the only way that this thing happens is that there is just this cloud, this mountain of people that are pouring in to a ministry from a distance that often you don't even get to see a lot of the things that God is doing. So I plan to do many more of these because I really want you to be able to have a better way of seeing and knowing what God's up to, that your prayers that you're giving it's going somewhere and it's accomplishing something. And I wish I could bring you into this more. I really do. There have been so many times when we have had things happening and I'm just dying to tell people, and I want all of you to be able to know that God is working here, and this ministry it's alive and it's vibrant. And even though we're gone from campus, even though I can't even see my students in person anymore, it doesn't change what God is able to do. It doesn't affect his reach. That he doesn't need a campus for us to be on. He doesn't need us together in one place. He just works, and he doesn't even need us. He works on his own, and he does very, very well, but he chooses to use us. And it's humbling and it's overwhelming that I get to be a part of this, and I wouldn't be able to be a part of this if it was not for all of you who have cared so well for these students and this campus. So just, again, thank you. In closing, I just want to say that as more things happen, as time goes on, I plan to send more of these out so that I can speak to you directly a bit more. I like this a lot better than letters. I admit I have not been great at writing letters. It is not my forte. But if this is something that works well for you, if this is something that you appreciate, please let me know. I know that stuff like YouTube may not be a regular use for a lot of you, but if it is something that has encouraged you, there are actually comments under the video where you can just say if this is something that has been encouraging to you, and let me know if this is something you'd like to see more of, because I enjoy communicating with you this way so much better than writing letters. And if this works, then I will do more of these, but I will continue to work on being better at letters. So I do apologize that those tend to get out kind of sporadically. Again, I look forward to talking more in the future. Please, again, reach out to me. My contact info is at the bottom of every letter. If you have questions, if there's things you want to know, if there are specific ways you'd like to get involved, or just things you want to hear more about that I haven't mentioned previously, please reach out. I am here for that, and I would love to be able to bring you into this in a more personal way. So I hope to hear from many of you. And again, I am praying for you, and I will continue to pray for you that in the midst of all of this, that everyone stays healthy, that we are all able to find ways to love the people around us, to stay separate as we need to care for those around us, but that we find ways of loving from a distance, which is, I think, what we need to do right now. So I will be speaking to you again soon, and thank you again.